WMBF starts with breaking news.
To lose your child, a loved one, but
emotional moments as a 13-year-old case comes to a close.
And I was a monster, and I took Brittanee Drexel's life.
A guilty plea and closure for the family of Brittanee Drexel.
Brittanee wanted to get married. She loved kids and wanted to be a mom, a career woman, a wife. But you took that all away from her.
I'll never be able to walk Brittanee down the aisle. Neither will her blood father or Dawn. She'll never be able to see my granddaughter, her niece.
Now the man who kidnapped, raped, and murdered her will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Not a day less to make sure his last breath is taken in the cage where he belongs.
Thank God that we found justice and can end this horror story.
We are keeping you updated on breaking news in the Brittanee Drexel case.
WMBF News was inside the courtroom sharing the moment Raymond Moody confessed. We have live team coverage of how this case has impacted the entire community, from the solicitor's office to the family of Timothy Taylor, who was once considered a suspect in the case and has since been cleared. We begin tonight with our investigative anchor, Ashley Bowles. Ashley, this clearly was a very emotional day for the family and for Moody.
Yeah, Rachel, today was expected to be emotional for the family, but it was also emotional for law enforcement who worked this case for over a decade. As for Moody, he described himself as a monster. That was after Assistant Solicitor Scott Hickson walked the court through a timeline of events that occurred on April 25th, 2009. According to Moody, Brittanee's family spoke to the judge and to Moody. In April this year, Angel Voss, Moody's girlfriend, spoke to FBI agents and agreed to wear a wire when speaking with Moody. Investigators say a few weeks later, Moody confessed to Drexel's kidnapping, rape, and murder. While giving statements, Brittanee's family talked about her as a soccer player, a normal 17-year-old girl who was popular in school but was also a mom figure to her youngest brother, Camden. After Brittanee's family spoke, Moody apologized to the family. Take a listen now to both.
I always would sleep in her room, be guarded by her, and it's just someone you would really want to ask for in your life.
Brittanee wanted to get married. She loved kids and wanted to be a mom, a career woman, a wife. But you took that all away from her. What gave you the right to put your hands on my daughter?
I don't have the words to express how horrible I feel, and I've felt ever since that day. I'm very, very sorry.
Moody was also seen crying several times throughout the hearing today. His attorney, Scott Bellamy, added that Moody has agreed to speak one-on-one to any of his surviving victims, as Drexel is not the only one. Ali Espinoza joins me now live. She was also in the courtroom today and breaks down further what Moody's charges mean on a state level.
Thanks, Ashley. I spoke with Solicitor Jimmy Richardson, and he says that there was a debate on whether Raymond Moody would be facing federal or state charges. Now, according to Richardson, Raymond Moody wanted to be charged on the state level, even though the FBI was the lead investigator in this case since Brittanee Drexel's disappearance. Richardson said that he is proud of all that law enforcement was able to do, even though they did not find Drexel alive. He said after 10 years, it's very rare for law enforcement to be able to give the family the body back.
It could have went either way. So it could have been a federal case, but Ray wanted to go in the state system so that he would stay somewhere in the state. If you go in the federal system, you could end up San Quentin, you can end up in West Virginia or wherever else.
Now, even though Moody was charged on the state level today, he could still be facing federal charges in the future. Now we're going to shift things over to Eric Richards. He also spoke to Solicitor Jimmy Richardson this afternoon about the family of Timothy Taylor. Eric, what did he have to say?
Well, Ollie, Jimmy Richardson says that he hates what happened to Timothy Taylor and his family after he was accused in the disappearance of Brittanee Drexel. But that was a federal case, not in the hands of the state at the time. Now, an inmate told investigators years ago that Timothy Taylor was involved in the gang rape, murder, and dumping of Drexel's body, which turned out to be false. When it was announced that Raymond Moody confessed and told authorities where the remains could be found, the Taylor family demanded an apology from authorities and a formal exoneration clearing Timothy's name. Joanna Taylor, Timothy's mother, says that they have not received either.
The damage has been done. Years of false allegations and misleading media coverage have taken hold. Timothy's name and face will forever be linked to Brittanee Drexel because of a lie, and the FBI's reliance on that lie.
We didn't have one thing, and I've talked with the Taylors about this. People get, that was a federal case. That didn't have a thing to do with the state. I hate what happened in that situation, but it would be almost impolite for me to apologize. I didn't have a thing to do with it, you know. That was a federal thing.
Late tonight, I reached out to the FBI and asked them if they would be issuing an apology to the Taylor family. I reached out to Kevin Wheeler, who gave the following statement saying, quote, "Throughout the investigation, law enforcement followed multiple leads to wherever they led us based on the information we had at the time. We have an obligation to follow leads to their conclusion. The person responsible for Brittanee's murder has been sentenced," end quote. Eric, back to you. Eric, back to you.
Our Eric Richards continuing our team coverage from Georgetown tonight. Eric, thank you. And of course, we will continue to follow any updates in this case. Rachel.
We also learned several new details about the Drexel case in court today, including what led up to her death. Drexel vanished in April of 2009 while on vacation from New York. She was 17 at the time. Drexel was last seen outside the Blue Water Resort on Ocean Boulevard. After her boyfriend's last text went unanswered, he contacted her mom, Dawn, who then called police. Her phone was pinged just 6 miles away from Ocean Boulevard in Surfside Beach. Then, hours later, it pinged near the North Santee River, nearly 50 miles from where she disappeared. Assistant Solicitor Scott Hickson says based on the cell phone data, they were able to pinpoint a more specific part of the video taken along 11th Avenue South to locate Moody's car.
Now, with a specific data point, right, they were able to realize that because Miss Drexel didn't make it to the corner of that video, but she was in the other video, and she was on the phone at this point, but not on the phone at this point, they were able to pick a very narrow, less than a minute time frame that something happened to her. And the only car that passes during the period of time is the vehicle that will stop right there. That vehicle right there. We had proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Brittanee Drexel was in that vehicle at that time, at this time. Driving that vehicle is Raymond Moody.
While law enforcement named Moody as a person of interest in 2012, it would take years to formally charge him. On May 5th of this year, Moody confessed and pointed authorities to where they would find Drexel's remains. Less than a week later, authorities found those remains in the Harmony Township area of Georgetown County. They announced Moody's arrest on May 16th.
You should know that there will also be a celebration of life for Brittanee Drexel this week. The family will be sharing memories of her, thanking the community for their support as well. It all goes from 4:30 to 7:30 Friday evening. It is at Journey Church. That's at Inlet Square Mall.